We're live. You're muted, man.
My bad, my bad. Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. If you guys are new here, don't forget to smash the likes and subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 3K. Right, we got our sponsors, Manscaped. Go check them out. LBI20 to get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. Also, go check out fanatics.com, official partners of Real Madrid and La Liga. The biggest sports apparel collection online. Go check them out. Also, if you guys didn't know, now you know we are officially powered by Talksport Fan Network, the biggest sports radio station in the whole wide world. Yeah, man, welcome Farouk, bro. How are you feeling? Talk to me. Bergamo, returning back
Yeah,
alive.
man. I mean,
You didn't
uh,
expect it.
yeah, man. It was a game that I would have taken, a draw at the beginning of the tie, and then we went 3-1 up, and all of a sudden it seemed like it's more of an equalizer than we, pulling away with Lukman doing what he did, and eventually, Rodrygo missing the open net. So like, yeah, man, it's been an ecstatic end to the game, and I'm just,
Yeah,
super grateful that we're able to, walk away with all 3 points.
that's the thing, right? Like when people exaggerate the demise of our great side, we often turn up and shut people up. That's just the way we do things. Some would argue that where we are on the table is a sorry sight to see, but not every season can be perfect, can it? Like we were unbeaten all throughout the Champions League campaign last year. How many great sides can continuously repeat it back to back, or even say that they went all throughout the entire season, without being tasting defeat. The thing is, with this side, with the personalities they have, we were bound to see a reaction. Farooq, do you think tonight was a reaction?
I mean, tonight, in my opinion, was Vinicius Jr. Man, like if you call
Mm,
Vinicius Jr. a reaction, then yeah, that's a reaction. Like Vini came back and he literally became a number nine, a number seven, a number eight, a number four. He was just there doing everything. So yeah, that's the thing. Like when you have players like Vinicius Jr., like who can make a difference. And to your point, this is just the thing. Like this team always highlights, the greatest strengths of their individuals. You understand? And when you have
yeah,
players like Vinicius, whose ceiling is super, super high, used to
yeah.
the system, already knows what's going on. So that's the thing. Like I feel like the return of Vinicius Jr. is just the biggest
Mm,
difference that we've seen.
mm.
From this game to the other games as well. So that's just the thing. Like if you label Vinicius a reaction, then definitely it was a reaction.
Vinicius Jr. 39 goals and assists in his last 38 games. I mean, if this doesn't scream greatness, I don't know what could, basically, because he is pound for pound the best player in the world, the best in his position, the best outright player, you can say, in Europe. We'll get to him in a second. But Farouk, when you say it like that, right? Like when you just mentioned, it's just a matter of Vinicius turning up and then saving our skins. Don't you think, especially the way we started and the way we kind of clawed back twice? Atalanta is a team that you can't really keep out for 95 minutes. They're going to eventually find their groove and come at us, because they are relentless. We have seen it throughout. Their recent resurgence, especially under Gasperini. For what, the last 6-7 years, we have seen them constantly give top teams a run for their money, right? But the way we kind of fought back and the way we kind of started, don't you think it is a reaction team wide? Every player fought for every 50-50. Guys like Fran Garcia, Ceballos, Farooq, don't you think it's a
Yeah, I
collective
mean, it's a collective
reaction?
move. I will not deny that. Even we
Mm,
had said this on the preview as well. Like the game at
yeah,
Girona was totally different from what we've seen.
yeah.
For the past couple of weeks. Like it was a game that was a reaction to what happened. At the San Mames in Bilbao. So definitely, like
Yeah.
it's a reaction, and it's not just a one-time thing. Something that has built from that game into this game. You understand? So as
Hmm.
we saw, the passing to Kylian Mbappe, the way he took the pass, the way he finished the game, and as you mentioned, like Fran Garcia, players like Dani Ceballos, like they really they were up to the task today. Like they really showed up. Honestly, but I still feel like that the major difference that we had today was Vinicius Jr.
Okay, fair. Right. So you don't shy away from the fact that the team kind of had started, like the house was on fire, and rightfully so. There was nowhere to hide. This was do or die, basically.
Yep.
Like you guys were kind of taking the piss when I was in the comments mentioning that like I don't want to play the playoffs. Yeah, I get it, right? Like the chances are very, very minimal, like probably 10% that we get into the playoffs if we win the remaining 3 games. But this kind of at least puts us in the equation, right? If the results go in our favor, we are like 2 points off 9 right now, right? So if the results actually go in our favor, I think we do have an outside chance of making playoffs. Like who would have thought this after Liverpool? And the most important test out of the way, I think the team is gonna build from here on in. They're gonna go from strength to strength because despite the setbacks, despite some of the kind of slight bumps we faced against Atalanta, I saw a team that was never backing down from their task, their objective. Like every man fought for tooth and nail. That was what I think kind of set us apart, at least from last year's exploits. Where we won the double. This match is the perfect embodiment of what last season was. In a very isolated like case study, if you want to call it, because this game in isolation completely was in complete contrast to what we saw so far this season. The way guys like Ceballos, Farouk, like we should I think before we get to the glory men, right? Like we should talk about some of the players that would go overlooked in a couple of months, because once guys like Amavinga, are back, he might be back on the bench, but if it wasn't for Ceballos' tenacity, if it wasn't for Ceballos' calmness on the ball, the amount of times where he was first to a 50-50, slowed things down, sped up the tempo when it needed. He was what we thought we bought in 2018 tonight.
Definitely, I mean, it's just as tonight as well. Even the game against Atalanta as well, like Dani Ceballos was phenomenal in that game as well. Today as well, he's building on that. So that's how I just kind of put an asterisk to what you said with if Camavinga comes back, he might find himself on the bench. I think Camavinga comes back into the team, but there's a lot of question mark around Tchouaméni, at least in my books. And Dani Ceballos has shown in the past couple of games that he's had the opportunity that he can be that guy. And as you rightly pointed out, like. He's all over the place. He's able to provide a certain kind of control, not the kind of control we're used to with Toni Kroos, but a different kind of control that we have lacked so far this season. And that's been like his profile is the most dissimilar to all the midfielders we have. All the 4 midfielders have almost a very similar profile. One of each of them can solve for each other easily, and Dani Ceballos is the one who is an outlier out of this. So I think if he can stay fit and find some form, he can use that to his advantage and be the difference maker among that midfielder. So I do think like Dani Ceballos, if he continues this, will come into the fray in the team, will be part of the rotation. Maybe not a permanent starter, but will be a very, very important member of the rotation. And you're right, like we need to give flowers to the guy. Like honestly, today he worked his socks off, try to retain possession, try to control the tempo of the game. And as you also highlighted, the tackles, the 50-50, a lot of them that he came out he came out winning. So definitely, Dani Ceballos one of the matches for today as well.
Ceballos was one of the reasons why we started so well, because Atalanta they were feeling the heat. I mean, the kind of heat they haven't really faced throughout the season. At least once their good run kind of kicked off. This was a match where the entire world was kind of honing in on what Atalanta are going to put up against the Madrid side that people really wanted to see go out. The Barca fan in the comments yesterday, where is he now? Where is he? Rahul, I'm calling you out. Hopefully you have found solace in your mother's lap. After the talk you talked yesterday, it is apparent that you can't walk the walk. But this again goes to show people like Ceballos, when the occasion calls, when we wear this camiseta, something happens to even the most unexpected of players. When like if you look at Ceballos' career trajectory with us, it has been a constant lull, for large parts of his tenure with us. And all of a sudden, when injuries are a thing of constant worry for us for the first 3 or 4 months this season, this guy steps up and steps up big time, and like he was one of the crucial key cogs for like through which we kind of started the game so well. We forced Atalanta into so many errors. Like maybe some naysayers would say Atalanta were caught out cold a bit, but I would completely reckon that we forced a lot of turnovers in an Atlanta side that was looking very well drilled, even at the weekend. Farooq.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Like we push them, honestly. Like we force a lot of turnovers and all that. But again, that's the thing. Like you talk about this and you talk about the game, good performances from players. But I just always, for me, the last thing of the game is what's playing on my mind. We were 3-1 up, and we're literally a tap into an empty post, going 3-3 down. Going out or going down 3-3. So for me, like the game, this game actually just summarizes what the whole scenario has been this season. It's just again. We go to the the comments that Seed was making yesterday, that Thomas Tuchel said that Real Madrid, like 5 seconds before, at least all Real Madrid on the Carlo Ancelotti right now, 5 seconds before he scored, we don't know that they would score. This is just the thing. The first goal, phenomenal. There is no issue about that. Creativity, everything. The second goal was just a game of chance, and the third goal, of course, as I said, like it's Vinicius Jr. All of it, So that's the thing. You look at the game as not as individuals or isolated situations. You look at the game as a team game. And you still feel like, okay, if this is the best that these players can offer, there is still a lot lacking.
There is lacking though, Farooq. Like I completely agree. Like I've held your hand. We have made out. Latter parts of last season. Kind of agreeing to the fact that this team can play much better. But Farooq, constantly, if this Carlo Ancelotti's Madrid side, especially in the Champions League, if they find answers where, 1 minute you think they're out of the competition, next minute you think they found an answer, like, don't you think, again, this is the question I'm going to ask you again, don't you think the design has to do something with it? It can't be luck 99 times out of 100. Though.
I don't put value to this game the way you put value to this game today. This game was definitely not a final. It's just, nah.
It wasn't a final, but if we did win it, Farooq, it was looking bleak.
I'm not saying a final like a final. The damn finals like we have 10 games to win, 10 games to win the league.
Those I understand. But Farooq, if we lose this game, the complexion would be way worse.
Lose this game, we play Brest and we play Salzburg. We win one.
We have to go away to Brest. I don't know what they're playing at.
But we're still 24th. We win just one. We have 3 points out of the 3 games. We're still 24th. We're still in the playoffs. So
but it's far more likely to face a much more difficult opposition, right, in the playoffs.
Bro.
And the second leg might be away as well.
Come February already, Real Madrid has picked, so I really don't care who I faced in February anymore. This is just the thing.
But you have to give credit to what this team did tonight.
I'm not saying take credit away or anything. I'm just highlighting the fact that if you sit down, at least for me as a Real Madrid fan, I'm not going to sit down here and watch this game and be like, yeah, this is it. Okay, this is a step in moving in the right direction. But again, it shows that we have a lot of deficiencies. If players 100%. Are giving, I felt like today was one of the better performances for Traoré, you understand? But the point is, you still look at the game and you still see that flash shot in the 90 plus 4th minute. There was literally a tap-in that was to be had from 3-1 back to 3-3. Okay, Atlanta is a form team in Europe. I agree with that. There is no denial. But then this is coming off of the back of the shambolic performances against Liverpool and AC Milan. Let's not talk about also what happened at against Borussia Dortmund as well before the comeback happened. So it's not like it's not an isolated incident. This is a chain of it's a series of events. Of course, now we can talk about what gives and what gives not. Yeah, we won the game. We got the 3 points. We had 3 points out of the out of the automatic qualification for the next round. As you said, if games go in our way, we are through. You understand? But again, it's not like I for me at least, I wouldn't just sit down here and be like, okay, yeah, I have to give credit like credit to you, bro. Like this is not
Farooq. Nowhere did I mention that this was the end product, or this was, the match where we turned the corner. But you have to take so much positives from this game. You have to, because the level has been very low, Farouk. We can't deny that, right? Like, the bar has been low. So this is a big improvement, like Girona was, especially in the Champions League away to an Atalanta side
I feel
in
like
prime form.
Girona was a better improvement. Today it was just like surviving. Today it was just all about survival. Girona was a better
Well,
team
when you
performer,
come up
and today
against
it
a
was about
side,
survival.
when you come up against, let's not compare where Atlanta and Real Madrid are, in terms of history, right? But when you come up against a side that has the stats they have, 9 games unbeaten, 9 games consecutive wins or something, I don't know, 14 games unbeaten.
Yeah,
They were
14
on to
unbeaten.
win.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they have considered 1 goal, in the Champions League. Farouk, we had to be on our toes. Like, sometimes winning ugly, it better than most, right? Sometimes winning ugly is all it matters, especially, in a predicament that we were in. Like, I would completely, differ from the way you look at things. Like, Farouk, you have a point. If we get 3 points out of our 3 games that we had, we still might play a playoff, um, tie and knock whoever we get. But in my mind, the more points we get out of the 3 games we have, the better chances we have to rest some of our players, and the better chances we have to play the home game, in the return leg and face someone a bit more, beatable, beatable in February. But yeah, I get your gripe, man. Like, 100%. This team needs to be, like you were mentioning about Chouameni. Rudiger was going crazy. I've written this down. That low cross, Lukman sends it into the box. Chouameni completely misses the trajectory of it, and if Rudiger doesn't do a last ditch, Superman like clearance, De Catalare is basically tapping it in, and Rudiger was on it. You know, this is the the story that has been for us all throughout Carlos' tenure. Maybe you could argue Zidane's tenure. There'll be games where many of our players will have 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10s, and then there'll be the guy next to him, Rudiger, who will have a 10 on 10. For all of Chouameni's lapses of concentration, after, Rudiger gave him peace of mind, I think Chouameni stepped up big time. There's so many vital clearances, headers, blocks. Like, if you remember the block against Ederson, which could have
Yeah,
easily
yeah.
caught Thibaut off guard. So, man, like, sometimes I think, a guy basically shouting into your brains, waking you up is all you need. And Rudiger was that person. Even if Chouameni wasn't at his best, I was of the opinion that Sensio should have started out of Chouameni, but that is a whole nother story. But Rudiger stood tall. Like, he was shadowing Ketlare everywhere. Again, another performance that basically cements his, spot as the best centre back in Europe, Farouk, for the second season running.
I wouldn't go that far. I don't think Rudiger has been the best center back in Europe this year. I think we have been
Who do you
better
think
players
it
with
is
better
then?
shouts. I think
Don't
Virgil
tell me
van Dijk
it's.
has I think Virgil van Dijk has
I
done a
knew it.
phenomenal job. I think Van Dijk has done a phenomenal job this year. I don't think Rudiger is infallible
Van
that he
Dijk
was
plays in
last
a
year.
much better setup. At least Rudiger is hung out to dry
I
more
mean,
often.
it's not a point about this is being hung up to dry or not hung up to dry. The
Mm.
point is, like, why is Thibaut Courtois the best goalkeeper in the world? Because literally every game he saves a goal. Why don't we say Ederson is the best keeper in the
We
world when he
saw
plays
how
in the system?
susceptible Thibaut can be, especially from near post shots. He conceded again one today, and he has done at least a couple more times throughout the
Okay,
season
then tell
without
me who is a
Rudiger.
bet- tell me who is a better keeper in the world than if not Thibaut then.
No, it is Thibaut, but
This
Rudiger
is the point
carries
I'm
the
making. Like,
defense
I
on
mean,
his back.
when you talk about systems, you can talk about systems like that. Like, the individuality is what shows what you are. That's the thing. Like, Van Dijk is playing with who is Van Dijk playing with? Last season, Rudiger
Konate is
was
one of the best centre backs
bro.
also.
Konate literally misses every other game. Like, he plays one game, he's out the other game. He plays one game.
Right.
Konate is out for 2 months now. Then what happens? He's
Oh,
playing
is
with
he?
Joe
Okay, I didn't know that.
and Jarrell Kwanzaa. So I'm not.
Mm.
This is not a point about saying this or that. Like, yeah, Rudiger this season, I feel like he's been up and down, but the point is that the level is down. Last year, he was undoubtedly the best centre back in the world. There was no even inch of doubt about that. But this year, like, he has come back to the human level, and this is also one of the problems we have right now. Is that last year Rudiger was able to mask a lot of problems. This year, unfortunately, like he has not been able to hit those heights to also remask those problems. But this is not an issue. The point is, again, we have
Right.
like a lot of lack of continuity in the center back, in the defensive lineup as well. Like
Mm.
Mendy now is out as well. We know the whole
Yeah.
story with Dani Carvajal. Lucas Vasquez is also in and out of the team. The center backs are also, changing literally every other week. So there's a lot of discontinuity there. So like, because of that, like, I mean, you can't say too much about Rudiger or Lagdero, but yeah, he's been good, this game as well. But like, I think this season there's been a lot of, situations where Rudiger could have done better, or at least Rudiger of last season would have done better.
You could say that for 90% of our players, but I get your point. But I do think the conditions Rudiger is under compared to last year. This year he is beyond saving. Sometimes, like, that's what I have felt. But yeah, I completely get where you're coming from. That is the expectation we should hold Rudiger to, because he was basically unplayable last year. But yeah, Fran Garcia, Farouk, very, very impressive performance. The amount of recoveries he had was
definitely, man.
unreal.
Definitely. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, at least for me, I've always faulted, Fran for his defensive, input to the game. His offense has always been much more than anything we got from the alternatives that we have. But defensive issue has always been an issue. But honestly, this season, at least this past couple of weeks or months, I'd say like Fran has stepped up a lot, and I think this game tonight was just a culmination of all that, man. Like today, he was phenomenal, honestly. But going offensively and defensively as well, as you were saying, like the lot of the tackles he put in, the way he goes together with either it was the Cutler or what was the name of the other guy? I forgot the name of their
Regeri, the wing back, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like the way he goes with those guys, like cover them down, don't provide the space, like giving the press and winning the ball back. I mean, honestly, like Fran has started to show improvement. He's close to getting back to that level that he was at Rayo. Before we exercised the buyback clause. I mean, credits to Fran, honestly. Like he's stepped up big time, honestly, big time.
Do you think even when Mendy comes back, it is Fran's position to lose?
I do think like Mendy needs to get benched for a couple of games, because like Mendy has lost, at least in my opinion. He was the best defensive fullback, at least in my books. But this season, he hasn't been able to hit that level of that as well. And that's the thing. If Mendy is not providing you that defensive, shield, I'm sorry, he's a negative. He's just a negative, because like offensively, we know that he doesn't. I mean, contribution is even too much of a word. He's not even present offensively. So the thing is that like the defense is what he offers the most, and this season he has regressed a lot from that defensive perspective. So he needs to recalibrate as well. Otherwise, he has a fight on his hand, because of course in the previous years like it was never a fight. It's just Mendy and Mendy only. But I think for now like he's not benched yet, but he has a fight on his hand to keep his place in the team.
100%. Let me get to a few other comments. There got people in the chat. Ashi was mentioning 3 points. Finally, Mbappe looked confident with his touches and the whole time he was on, and that gets cut short. Mbappe, Farouk, do you think this is something to like leave the injuries out? I think we are fucking cursed, but the performance in general, Farouk, like I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah, but it was for 20 minutes, like we can't really say anything. But one thing at least we can see at least now is that that move was a move of Kylian Mbappe that we knew.
Yeah. The touch into space, Martin de Roon, I mean, he is sent back to his academy.
That was a textbook Kylian Mbappe move. So at least for that, it's at least for that we're happy. That's the thing. Like for that, we see that okay, like he's getting that confidence back, because the biggest thing with Kylian Mbappe, they say that he's lacked a lot of confidence. Well, at least now we're seeing at least that move in itself, just highlighted that okay, he's getting his groove back, he's getting confident back, and again it goes back, okay, he's missed a couple of penalties, but his performances are getting better. That's just the thing. Like if you remove the isolated incidents of the penalties, like his performances are getting better. Like the game at Girona as well. Okay, he missed chances, but as well, like the point is that at least he started to stay offside to receive those chances. And then the way he left the Roon in the dust, like literally, I mean, when you watch the highlight, it was like the Roon miscued the ball or some shit. Like it was like some black magic happened, and he actually forget what was going on. But yeah, it was just credit to Kylian Mbappe, honestly. Like the skill to beat the man, and the finish, perfect, man. Like I do hope like this is but then unfortunately he's out again. So I was gonna say I hope this is a stepping stone for him, but then
Carlos says the injury doesn't look serious. It's just an overload, apparently.
yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like Carlos says this and says that, and then Vinicius comes back from an injury and he plays 90 minutes as well. I don't know, and then so after 2 weeks and he goes back, and then we start the whole
The
cycle
thing
again.
is, without Vinny, Farouk, he had to play him. Without Vinny, we are losing this game. So, in hindsight, this was a risk we had to take, Farouk.
Of
But
course, he has to play, but like,
yeah,
does Vinny have to play 90 minutes? I don't think so.
no, he doesn't. That I don't get. I don't have any idea why. Maybe the doctors don't advise people to bring them off. I do think it comes from the medical staff as well. Like they would give someone a clear check to play 90 minutes or 80 minutes or something. And these guys, I don't know why they are not being a little more precautionary with especially minutes straight after uh recovering. But yeah, Mbappe, plenty to take away. Plenty of good stuff to take away from his recent performances. 50th Champions League goal for him. Yeah, I hope he can build upon this and really help the side move forward. But yeah, big upset he was mentioning. I told you we would get a win in Bergamo. To you, Farouk. Trust the team sometimes. Jude is the main man, best on the pitch. Right. Should we cover Jude Bellingham? Like,
yeah, man. I mean, man, that man is something else. Honestly, I was saying to the guys yesterday, like if Jude makes the runs, who's gonna give the ball, man? I mean, unfortunately, I never thought that was gonna be, because I was like, when the ball came first, I was like, okay, like that cannot be Vinicius. I thought maybe okay, that was like
he's collecting the ball basically.
Exactly. I mean,
behind the center backs.
Like not away from all of this, like Jude again, man. Like, honestly, this man. Like you just cannot quantify what he does, honestly. And okay, now he's scoring the goals, but even for me, since the beginning of the season, I cannot fault what Jude has done, because the thing is that one thing you ask from your players is to give their all, and that's the thing. Like no matter what happens, no one can ever question Jude's commitment to the cause and the way he does it, and that's the thing. Like I don't know how it happens, but like Jude gives his all and always hits. He's always in that elegant phase, like he's running up and down, but even the way he tackles them, wins the ball back, there's an elegance to it. The way he turns out of traffic, there's an elegance to it. Like, yeah, man, like you just can't, you can't. I totally agree with Sid as well. Okay, yeah, we talk about Vinicius Jr. and all that, but like, yeah, Jude is, Jude. I don't know, Jude is a driver of this thing. You want to see, whatever.
It is his character. It's so infectious, right? Like you just see him basically, kind of riling up his opposition. Rallying the troops when it comes to his own team when they would kind of benefit from a jolt to their systems. Jude Bellingham was always there, man. It's his voice.
If you saw the clip with him and Arda Güler at the weekend, man, it was like they were fighting, man. I don't know what the hell was that, bro.
That's the way they motivate
they were not fighting,
each other.
But like they were motivating each other. I'm like, bro, calm down, man.
Sometimes you need a guy like that to rough you up, right? In a positive way, right?
Exactly. That's the thing. Like, of course, like we're not talking about this in a negative way at all. It's just the positivity. That's how they, they motivate each other. That's how they rub off on each other. And that's the thing. Like it's great. But like honestly, like Jude Bellingham, like yeah, man. Honestly, that guy, he's something else, man. He's something else.
Last 7 games for Madrid: Osasuna assist and a goal, Leganes an assist, Liverpool. He didn't get anything against Getafe, an assist and a goal. Bilbao, an assist. Girona, an assist and a goal. Atalanta, a goal. Sorry, against Bilbao, he had a goal as well. Tap in. I mean, when Jude Bellingham is on it, the team really thrives. Because whatever he does, he just kind of is primed to take the team. Take the team forward. Like every movement is basically designed in a way that this is going to help the team progress up the pitch, or if it is in a defensive transition, break up the play, or basically shore up a side and kind of double up, triple up. His work rate is second to none. If you remember, some of his, like you were mentioning earlier, like especially in tight spaces, like is there a better dribbler than Jude Bellingham? Like he just has these magnetic boots that he can basically knock the ball past a couple of men and kind of go around them like they didn't even exist. Atalanta found it intimidating at times because you see this guy who is what 6'2", 6'1", right? Like he's not a short fellow, right? So they would think someone as lanky as him wouldn't have the feet. It's almost like Zidane. Like the comparisons are there for a reason. Like there is a method to this guy's madness. It just isn't about brute force. People would look at his game for 5 minutes and they would say, "Oh yeah, this guy is a worksman like a midfielder. He is the perfect prototype for the modern generation of midfielders." But Jude Bellingham's game has proven time and time again he is a perfect blend of the retro and the now, right? Like this can't get any better. And his form, like at least for the last month or so, is Ballon d'Or level. Like it's up there with Vinicius. Like Vinny gets the hype he deserves. I think Jude Bellingham's work rate, if he doesn't get the goals, like people wouldn't talk about it as much. But that's just the nature of the business, right? Like goals and assists grab headlines over, like your your blood and sweat. That like just imagine, Farouk, a world in which Jude Bellingham doesn't exist for this side. We would be way off every top honor. Like right now, like Jude Bellingham is one of the biggest reasons why we stand a chance in the Champions League, and we are like 1 point off Barcelona, with the game in hand. But yeah, big up Sid. He was mentioning Jude is the main man, best on the pitch, 100%. Big up Sharik, he was mentioning, came in at the right time. That match was as close as it gets. Yeah, watching our side in the Champions League isn't for the faint of heart. There is a reason why. There is a reason why people post memes about getting their BP machine ready and whatnot. Sid was mentioning Rodrygo had a stinker. Rodrygo, yeah, I still think he's rusty. Like I would defend him, until the end of the year. But again, tonight, he had one good chance, and I definitely think this again has plagued Rodrygo for the past couple of seasons. He shoots, he shoots straight at the keeper. If he has any venom in the shot, and if it's directed better, it's a sure shot goal, and we kind of take momentum back away from Atalanta.
I agree. But as you said, man, like I think for Rodrygo, we shouldn't be too harsh on this case, man. Like he's literally just coming back from injury, and so I think we should just not be too harsh on him. Let's see how, because it's not fair. Like before this guy got injured, like he was the better of the three, man. Like he wasn't scoring the goals.
Yeah.
But when you watch games, like Rodrygo was the guy that like was the better of these three guys. This is just the truth. Before he got the first injury and what is and what is not. So
he was the only one who looked like his head was screwed on, right?
Yeah. Exactly. So like let's just give him the benefit of the doubt, with the injury and all that.
Sid was mentioning Rodrygo as a Madridista. I have no idea how he missed from there, Farouk. I think he's kind of anticipating the other guy to basically get a touch or maybe tap it in, right? Like it has happened to me,
bro. The thing I've said is this: like Atalanta scores a lot of goals, but they miss a lot of chances, man. I know you're a fan of Milan. I don't know if you saw the game against Milan or the highlights, bro.
No, I didn't see it. I haven't seen them recently.
He would have easily scored 6 in that game. Even this same Retegi missed a 1-on-1 against Milan. Literally, he was central in the dying minutes of the game. So this is the thing, like, honestly, like, I wasn't surprised that they missed it, of course, but, like, yeah, you don't want that to happen against your team, but, like, Atalanta misses a lot of chances, bro, a lot. They score a lot of goals because, like, of course, like, when you keep creating chances, like, eventually you score them, but, like, they also miss a lot of chances, man, honestly. So, because when you look at it, like, Mario Retegi, like, I think this is the most prolific season he's had in his whole life. When he was at Genoa, I think the maximum he has scored in a season was 12 goals in all competitions. Of course, like Genoa is like a lesser team. You can compare that.
How old is he? Is he 24?
I think he's like 23, 24, 25. I'm not exactly sure.
He's a prospect. He's really good. Really good.
Yeah, of course. But I'm just saying, like, this players, they're not like, it's not like you have a Haaland or a Lewandowski in this team. Like, these guys miss a lot of. Even
but I do think he was kind of caught off guard. That he was on the end of it. Sometimes it happens.
Yeah, of course it happens. I mean, even the best of strikers have missed empty nets before. But I mean, this is just a chance that, because the point is he saw the ball coming. It's not like he had to readjust or reposition himself. He literally saw the ball and attacked the ball. You understand? But then,
mm-hmm.
yeah, this is just something that happens, and thank God it happened, man.
You mentioned Lukman, Farooq, fellow Nigerian, although his nationality is kind of English right now. But how good is he, man? Like, he just looks like a guy who is born to play football. The way he moves is very reminiscent of one of the finest dribblers, like Neymar. Even Vinicius, close control. His decision making is all top notch. Why isn't he playing for a better side?
Bro, I think Lukman should be careful what he wishes for, man, because I think if you remember, there have been a lot of players who shined in the system that failed elsewhere, man. I do think this Gasperini system has a way to mask certain deficiencies of certain players, and when you
Okay.
take these players out of the system, it's a problem. I mean, the MVP for Atalanta last year was Cup Miners. Cup Miners right now is on the bench at Juve.
Oh yeah. Wasn't
I
he
mean,
injured? No, for you, no.
he's injured and he's back, but now he's on the bench. He's right in the
Right,
bench.
right,
Okay,
right,
maybe
right.
something changes down the line. We don't know, but I mean, we've seen
Yeah.
this also. Like Papu Gomez as well went to Sevilla. What
Oh
happened?
yeah,
Papu
Gomez.
Gomez was arguably the best playmaker in Serie A. He went to
Mm-hmm.
Sevilla. What happened? So I, of course, I understand all of this, but Lukman
Yeah.
he's a fantastic player for Atalanta, but I don't know what would happen if Lukman, because actually in the summer he wanted to leave. And I
Yeah.
was quite surprised why he couldn't leave, because already like he's British, and also like it's not about like he's a homegrown prospect for a lot of this English teams.
Yeah.
So like it's enticing for them. But I don't
Asking
know what.
price wouldn't be it wouldn't be cheap for sure.
No, but I mean the point is like you're buying from Italy, so it's you're not like gonna pay maximum money. Like I mean if you're paying £65 million for Dominic Solanke, you're gonna pay maybe 40 for someone like Lukman. So it's not like gonna
Mm,
be like outrageous amount. But the issue
yeah.
again is that I just feel like players like Lukman, they should be careful what they wish for, and like sometimes like you find yourself in a system and you think like you're better than the sum of the parts, but you don't know that you're just one another piece of the puzzle. So I don't know, maybe something else will happen or not. But again, actually in the AFCON earlier this year, actually he
Yeah.
was the best player for Nigeria. Actually, he had 3 goals. Osimhen had
Mm,
one in penalty. He was the
mm.
best player in the Nigerian national team as well. So that's the thing. Like he's a good player. Like he's shown glimpses as well. But I don't know. I just feel like since he's found a home at a team who is challenging for the Serie A and top
Yeah.
competition, like why do you wanna break that? This is just the thing.
Yeah. 100%, 100%. And the pressure and the eyes would kind of be a lot more amplified if he kind of moves on to some other team. And
Yeah.
what if he can't really play to their tunes? It's an interesting. I mean, he's definitely a guy who's on the move in the next 2 years. There's no doubt.
I agree. I think in the summer release, man, like I honestly like when you watch Atalanta, always, man, like
Yeah,
Lukman, even if he misses chances or whatever, like he
yeah,
creates that excitement, and this is what people
yeah.
pay for.
He gets people off their seats. Yeah, 100%.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Right. Sid was mentioning yesterday, Farouk did not want Vinny to start. What a turnaround! I think I missed that. Why did you? Why were you against Vinny starting? Was it just because of the injury?
Exactly. It's the same thing I told
Right.
you just now. Like, why is Vinny playing after such a
Sid
long
should
year?
Sid should work for fucking Daily Mirror, man. He doesn't give context, and he just puts out scandalous, cash lines.
I mean,
Sid,
Spirit is a
mature
journalist,
up.
so it's in their blood. As long as someone has the title of a journalist in their blood, it doesn't matter even if he works in Nigeria or he works in India or he works in
Right.
Uruguay or Afghanistan. It doesn't matter. A journalist is a journalist. Their job is to find a way to create sensational headlines. This is just all what they teach them.
So Sid is just very good at baiting, right? People. I mean,
Exactly.
yeah. By
Exactly.
now we should be aware. But yeah, Ashik was mentioning Vinny was showing his inner cruise today. Some questionable actions, but overall he showed a leadership. Time and time again, Farooq Vinicius, defies logic because like before his goal, he was struggling to get into a stride. He couldn't run properly. He was slipping all over the pitch. But then he gets a half chance, a very fortunate chance. The rebound of I can't remember who it was. But I had written it down. I think who was the rebound of
I also can't
Ederson,
remember.
of all people, one of the best
Oh,
midfielders in Syria. And Vinny,
yeah.
took advantage. I do think any of our other forwards, Mbappe, Rodrygo, I think even Jude Bellingham is Jude Bellingham. Maybe he might score it, but Vinicius is the guy. If you give him a half chance, there is no looking back. Farooq.
Yeah, man. I agree with you about the fact that like before the
Mm.
goal, like Vini was kind of like in and out of the game, like you couldn't,
Yeah,
he couldn't get a grasp of the game. But I feel like
yeah,
that lucky bounce, fell to him, and it
mm.
just him scoring it removed all the rust that he had,
Yeah,
and that just brought him into the game, and all of a sudden he was all over the place, and then
mm.
what is not. As you said as well, like maybe they score, maybe they don't score, but like Vini is a guy that we will give a half chance and we would expect to, a goal out of it. This is
Mm.
just the truth, so that's
Yeah,
the thing. And after that goal, he just got more and more confident. And that's the thing, like, you see, Vini has grown a lot, honestly, Sunil. Like,
yeah.
we watched this guy from, the whole guy that, like, yeah, don't pass to him for the whole Benzema telling, Mendy, we watched this guy that was the fun of Barcelona. They're like, yeah, just let him pass. He's never gonna score. You never even give him an open post and shit like that. But now
Yeah,
you're looking at Vini, like he's literally becoming a quarterback, man. He's literally shooting the ball from literally almost inside his own box,
yeah.
and as an assist, man. Like, so
That
that's the
just
thing.
goes to show Farooq, like his range of passing over the years is just
Exactly,
phenomenal
exactly. I
for a
mean,
winger. Mm.
credit as well to see. Even Sid was highlighting this to me yesterday as
Yeah.
well. He was like, if we have Vini has the ability to pick those passes,
Mm.
and
I do think Farooq, like, tell me if this is controversial. Yes, sorry to cut you off. I do think even if Vinny doesn't have the cutting instinct of Cristiano and the brilliance of Cristiano, I do think he has matched up to his passing range over the years. So, like, do you think it is a bit controversial to say that?
I think when you look at the assist output, I don't think it's controversial. When you look at the assist
Okay.
output that Vinicius
Mm.
have had so far, I don't think it's going to be controversial. Like, he hasn't matched up to the goal scoring output of Cristiano, which of course no one will
Mm.
ever match. But I think
Yeah.
at least for the creativity and chance creation, and I think I don't if I say this now become sometimes, but also like more of like team oriented player. I think like Vini has definitely matched up to that, honestly. But
Mm.
that's still a
Mm.
very high praise because like Ronaldo is still someone that has hundreds and hundreds of assists. So
So
like
many assists, so many assists.
exactly,
People overlook it.
exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. But like that's the thing, like Vini has honestly like stepped up a lot, for especially that passing range and the ability to bring others into play as well. It's nothing short of phenomenal, man. And that's the thing, like when you
Yeah.
started the monologue earlier, you're talking about like Vini being the best player in his position or this or that. I mean, there is no anything else in it. Vini is the best player in the world, full stop. Nothing more.
Full stop.
There
Yeah.
is nothing else. There is
Yeah.
nothing else in the front of it. That's just it.
Yeah. Yeah, Vinicius, man. It's just not the passing range as well. I would like to highlight his impeccable sense of timing in games, when to play a ball, right? When to basically make a run, when to position himself. Like, how many times do we see Vinicius offside? Farooq, it's a rare sight. For a guy blessed with the pace he has, Farooq, he should be
Yep,
caught
yep,
offside
yep.
way more
More,
than
more,
he
more,
is.
more. Why do
So
I sense there's a deep towards a certain player in there, bro?
no. Mbappe today, no agenda. Mbappe, I'm slowly starting to warm up to him. Like he's
But again,
winning
like
me over.
the thing about this is that like we have to also
Mm.
appreciate the fact that the people that Vinicius has been playing with. When you
Yeah,
play with players like Luka Modric, Karim Benzema, Toni Kroos,
yeah,
these guys know how to wait literally the ball will pass through a needle, man. They will thread the ball through a needle. You understand?
yeah,
So this
yeah,
is the thing as well. Like even
yeah,
no matter how fast you are, they know
yeah.
when to release the ball as well. You understand? So because
Mm.
of this as well, like Vini also like when he knows that okay, this guy plays his ball like this, also he times his run based on that. And I think that's
Mm.
the thing. Like with Kylian Mbappe, maybe he hasn't had this experience yet because for our team,
100%.
it's all about the transition. When he played
Yeah.
for Paris Saint-Germain, they always had the position and like they were always playing the ball. When he plays for what's it called? When he played for Paris, it was about the pivot of Olivier Giroud bringing him into the play. And so I feel like he also needs maybe some time to also understand.
You mean for France? Okay.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
right,
When he
right.
plays for France,
Yeah.
so I think like
Mm-hmm.
when he's here, like he needs some time. But unfortunately, what's
Yeah.
happened with him now? He doesn't have those stalwarts that Vinicius had. There is no
Yeah.
Toni Kroos, there is no Karim Benzema.
Especially early on in his yeah. His
So that's the thing.
acclimatization has taken a hit because of that, right? Mm.
Exactly.
Mm. Mm. That's a very valid point. Like our stalwarts, like you mentioned, they had a sense what the game needed, and like they didn't rush stuff. They just knew what pass to play at what point in the game. I think that all feeds into your game IQ. When to make a run. How you kind of have to hang back. At the shoulder of the last defender to kind of fool him into playing you onside. So yeah, stuff like that. I think over the years, Vinny has kind of been the fly on the wall and kind of has absorbed all of the good stuff, 100%. But yeah, what a leader, man! What a leader! His stats like speaks for itself. Like even if he doesn't have the 50, 60s that Cristiano had, he is just as important for his side like Cristiano was. There's no taking away. There's nothing to take away from that. Right. Sid was mentioning the moment Mbappe looked good, we got the injury curse. It isn't serious. We might miss him for Rio, but he should be back for the Intercontinental final. I think against Botafogo next Wednesday. Right, Ashik was mentioning Ceballos was industrious and very reliable, did his task to the best of his ability. Mbappe showed confidence. Fran was overlapping well. Tchouaméni had some great blocks. The pen was unfortunate. Farouk, was the pen an actual pen? Because, when I watched it in real time, I thought it was a sudden pen. Then I saw the replay for the first time. I thought, yeah, Kolasinac was kind of clipped. Then I saw another replay during halftime, over at TNT Sports, and I do think it was slightly misjudged. Kolasinac kind of caught himself. His left foot kind of hit his right foot, and he kind of fell over. What do you think happened, Farooq? Do you think it is a bit of a harsh decision against us?
It's a pen, bro. It's a very soft pen, bro. I don't know, like it's a pen that if you concede, you'll be pulling your hair out of it, but like there was contact, and as so long as there is contact, no matter how slight, because like the point is like the contact just pushed the feet of Kolasinac a bit forward, and then it clipped itself. I don't understand. Like eventually, Kolasinac clips himself, but the start of the action was the slight contact there. You understand? The contact was very little, very minimal.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, contact is contact. That's just it. It's unfortunate, but like, yeah, I thought it was a pen. It was a pen. Like, if I had considered that as well, like, I would, literally be fuming because like it's the like slightest of contacts, but a pen is a pen.
Kolasinac was a meme for years, and now he's kind of has reinvented himself under Gasperini, and he is this marauding centre back, in a 3-man back line. This is 2024, Farooq. It's funny.
Exactly. Kolasinac, when he was at Arsenal, was this huge guy who was supposed to be a fullback, and literally was just making.
He was a double-decker best, Exactly. I'll be honest,
exactly. And stuff like that. And I remember, the whole story about Kolasinac running after someone at the traffic with a knife or some shit like that. Like apparently
protecting him against Ozil, against the attack, right? Or something. Yeah.
So, I was like, man, like, there is, but I mean, he's someone from the Balkans, man. You should fear those guys, man. He's Bosnian, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, you should fear those guys, man.
Carlo was asked, Retege missing the chance. What do you think about it? He said, "This is a good sign. A good sign." Yeah, he doesn't shy away from the fact that black magic is definitely in action. Like he could have said literally anything else. He just said it is a good sign. Probably he's in on it. But Said was mentioning, you mean avoiding the playoffs, not making the playoffs? Yeah, I think he was referring to my wishful thinking about not, not making the playoffs. I mean, avoiding the playoffs. Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I mean. Okay, I mean it's implied, man. Like, come on. Marcus Villama was mentioning, I just wish this season ends so quickly. This team cannot compete. We can't depend on luck or individual brilliance in every game. Yeah, I completely understand. But this is the way we play. This has been our, this has the way we dealt with business, especially in the Champions League.
If you have players like Mario Retegi and Ademola Lukman on your team, then yeah, you can't rely on individual brilliance. But if I have Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Jude Bellingham, of course I can rely on that. Or is that the ideal way? No, but This is what Carlo Ancelotti has been doing for the past 3.5 years. So there is nothing to do. Like, I understand where he's coming from. I think we share the
it
same.
is more akin to, he's more in line with you than me.
Yeah, of course. I understand that. But again, also, like, the point is that we also have to recognize that once our players play to the peak, because I've always said this, I do not think the coaching staff can actually end the ruts that we find ourselves in. The thing I believe in isn't that we have the best player in the world in Vinicius Jr. If Vinicius can play to his level, we are true. Like, I really do not care who we are facing. If Vini can play to his true level, as we have seen years after years now, we are fine. You understand? But the problem is that we've had the start-stop season, so that's the issue. Like, he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out.
See, Jude is mentioning, I'm on my best when I play with freedom. I had meetings with Carlo who helped me find that freedom again. I do think, there is definitely a conversation to be had. Like Farooq has a point. Farooq has always had a point. Like, it is just, completely different perspectives. So many people have a point where they say our team, struggles to play good football, right? Like, it's not easy on the eye to watch. People pay so much money to go watch, the so-called greatest team in the world, and they don't churn out eye-catching football. It's a sorry sight. But then again, you look at well-drilled sides go through bad patches where they never find a way back. When our side, without a clear, distinct style of play, you could see, where most people will write us off, we still find a way back. I do think it is kind of a bit due to black magic, and it definitely has to have some role with Carlo's freedom of play, to be credited for it. But yeah, it is what it is. Sharik was mentioning, regardless of the win, saw us playing like a synchronized team again, against a season-informed team. Yeah, he was mentioning Atalanta. Huge boost for confidence. Right. Big up Tas Ali, but long time. He was mentioning, hi, I'm back. Sunaid, you look older, my guy. It's all good and fun that we can win the Champions League, but in the knockout stages, we will probably gonna play with Vasquez or Valverde. I don't know. It looks bad this time. Yeah, man. These 3 months has definitely, aged all of us. It has hit me a lot more because I couldn't fucking watch my team play this drab. Honestly, like, I've never seen my team play this bad. Maybe under Lopetegui for a bit. But, Lopetegui was more of, us being kind of resigned to the fate of affairs. But this team has a lot in its, in its gas tank to perform way better than, it has been showcasing for the first 3 months. Big up Milan, he was mentioning Mbappe played well today. Hopefully it continues. Jude, excellent. Ceballos man of the match, and Tchouaméni was amazing today. And 25% Vinny is still decisive, which is crazy. He played this weird 10 role and balled. Yes, a lot more central. He had to, like, he didn't have the pace, right, Farooq? I think it was kind of a tactical decision as well to kind of, make him kind of this floating 10, slip in behind when needed, kind of, collect the ball and turn.
Exactly. I think I think one of the also issues there is about the fact that I think, like, when you play Jude Bellingham in his preferred position, giving him that freedom of the free role as well, that kind of limits what Brahim Diaz can do as well in the 10 role as well. I think this is something that we have to consider as well, because more or less he's going to occupy spaces that Brahim Diaz would like to occupy. But I think, like, it was just a tactical decision to allow Jude, to be the free player. Then, like, Brahim was more like tactically shackled. Like, he had to, he had some more responsibilities, as you said, of, like, like just recycling the possession, neatly without, taking too much risk.
Brahim, apart from the assist, he was kind of silent, right? Like, Abhishek over here, he asks us opinion on Brahim. He didn't impress me. He was a passenger. We have seen this before from Brahim.
Exactly. This is the thing. I've always said this. Like, I feel like when Brahim starts games, he has a tendency to become invincible.
Yeah.
I feel like Brahim is the best. Brahim's best role is as coming up as an impact sub after 60 minutes. Then, you can see the best out of Brahim. But I do feel like, okay, not in all games, but in majority of the games he starts, he has that tendency of becoming a passenger, of becoming a ghost, basically. So this is one thing that I have noticed with Brahim Diaz, actually.
Tas Saliba was mentioning, Farooq and I have been for the longest, and the opinion that Ancelotti is not the person. Now I believe that he can be in terms of the Champions League knockout stages, but we are facing the weakest teams in terms of recent history. Saliba was mentioning we are facing the weakest teams in terms of recent history. What does that imply? That we faced lesser sides in the group stages?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure exactly what he's saying, but what I understood is that like we are facing weaker teams than before because of the extended format of the Champions League. You're gonna come up
Dortmund,
against more weaker
Milan, Liverpool,
that's
top
the thing,
of the
like
table,
he said,
Atalanta side.
But he said in terms of the knockouts, because he said in the knockouts you're gonna face weaker teams eventually. But of course, this is only valid. This is only valid if we qualify directly. Because the point now is if we qualify in the bottom half of this of the playoffs,
we're going to face tougher sides. Yeah,
we're going to face tougher sides. So the seeding matters a lot actually here.
Ashik was mentioning we're talking about Brest before dealing with Salzburg's. Okay, Salzburg. Bigger brothers. He was mentioning Clown got I have no idea. I think he was talking about the Barca fan who was yapping yesterday. Rajat was also mentioning Real gave Atalanta the first loss today in the Champions League. Vinny, Bellingham, Rudiger, Diaz, Thibaut, all class today. Thibaut should have done better for the Lukman goal. I mean, Vasquez was, kind of, his legs kind of got twisted by Lukman's movement. But Thibaut, Farouk should have done better, don't you think?
I agree, 100%. I mean, the first rule of goalkeeping is never get beaten at the near post. That's the first rule of goalkeeping. And I understand, of course, like as you said as well, like, Lucas Vasquez was in the way as well of the shot, but I do think, like, the standards that we have come to hold Thibaut Courtois to, like, you would expect him, to do much more better than that. I think he saw the ball late. That was why, he dived quite late as well. But I totally agree with you. Like, I feel like it's not like his fault that it's a goal, but I feel like he should have done much more better.
He had a few decent saves, parried it away out of danger a few times from range and whatnot. But yeah, like I do think that is a real weakness. I do think coaches there are also video footage where they would be pointing out Thibaut is, if you hit it near and low, Thibaut is more likely to kind of either save it and parry it into his own net or kind of completely miss the ball. Rajat was mentioning the do or die game, so was super and very important to get this win. Jacob Musi was mentioning Vamos Equipo. Right, Rajat was also mentioning big credit to Atalanta as well. Was a great game. Why no Asensio? I think they were kind of the impression that if he does have a bad game, it would kind of be a huge blow for him. He is in a good moment. I think they're trying to preserve it for a time of absolute necessity, where we have nowhere else to turn to. I think he is a solid option off the bench, and he again showed himself when he came on. He's very decent. Right, Marcus was mentioning Di Catalare is overrated. I do think he was overrated early on when he kind of came on to Milan from Club Brugge, but I do think he has kind of found his home in Atalanta, right, Farouk? He is decent.
I think so. So that's the thing, like when you get these players from this Dutch, this
Belgian,
I don't know. Yeah. But I just want to put that in that region, like the Belgian and
outside of the top 5 leagues, right?
Yeah, not just that. Like there is a region like Austria, Belgium, and the Netherlands. When you get attackers from these 3 places, it's a huge toss of a coin, man.
Are you talking about Zirkzee?
I mean, it's either.
Are you talking about Højlund?
I mean, it's a huge. No, Højlund came from Italy, man. Like Højlund was.
Oh yeah, Højlund. Yeah, but he's Danish though. You get.
Yeah, but I mean that's a different region. Like I'm just saying, like when you find players that are tearing up in the league, the players that teared up in this leagues, it's really difficult to make them transfer to the top team. So that's the thing. Like with the Qatar as well. Like he went to Milan and Milan was a shit show then, or rather, like he was unable to to find the space in the team, and then he went to Atalanta, and all of a sudden, he found the space there. But I do think there was an element of the overhype to that, because like when he was at Bruges, he was literally, a very, very effective midfielder, basically, you could say, like a very effective attacking midfielder. So I feel like there's an expectancy to transfer that, to the top European leagues as well. So I feel like there is that's where the hype becomes too much. I think expecting that much from him was a mistake in the first place. But anyways, like he's found a home here in Atlanta, and I think he's done just enough. Last year alongside Cup Miners, they were really, really, great, and now he's continued from where he stopped last year.
He has all the attributes, to be a very good player. I think it's only a matter of time. Like, he's still very young, though, right? Like, he's
I think also he's like 23, 24, 25 ish. I'm not sure exactly what the number is, but like he's still quite young as well.
Yeah. Right. Sid was mentioning maybe Vinny played 90 minutes because Mbappe got injured and the game was close. Yeah, I do think you have a point there. But regardless of if Mbappe was missing or not, for the second half, Vinicius would have played a large part of it. Maybe not 90 minutes. 90 minutes, I don't get it. But, without Vinny, this game is going nowhere. Big up Omar. He was mentioning hello. Yeah, there you go, my friend. Barcelona has to play Dortmund away. So good luck tomorrow. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Farouk, final thoughts ahead of Rayo at the weekend?
Yeah, man. I mean, as I said, at the beginning, this is not a game, to write home about. But then, yeah, it's a win. It's a win that most likely could change the course of our Champions League campaign this season. And also, it's a win against a big informed team in Europe as well. So it can be a shot to the arm. And again, the players are at least starting to play better. So I hope that this can serve as at least the last two games can serve as a springboard to continue that form into the derby at the weekend, because like the game against Rayo also is a derby. So hopefully we can keep that in, and but I hope, fingers crossed, that the whole Jude holding his tie as well is absolutely nothing as well.
Yeah.
So we can have some continuity at least in the team, because so far it's been a addition by subtraction. You get one back, you take one out. So this is the unfortunate situation we've been in. But I do hope like we can use this couple of victories as a springboard to change the course of the season.
Yeah, just three more games remaining for 2024. What a year it has been. I hope this recent resurgence long may continue. Rumors of our demise, as always, has been over exaggerated, and we again showed up tonight why we are the reigning champions and the perennial kings of the Champions League, 15-time winners. Showing up on a night like this where it demanded the utmost determination and perseverance to see out a result that kind of gives us a chance to have 1 foot in the playoffs come match day 7. Let's see people. But big up people, every single one of you in the chat. Smash the like button before you go out. Spread the word. We have a good few things up and running in the pipeline. So keep your eyes peeled on our socials. We'll be probably having a giveaway as well. I'm not going to reveal what the giveaway is going to be, right now, but it'll be something you guys would be, wanting to get your hands on. So keep your eyes peeled on our especially Instagram. That's where we are most active at. And a big up our audio listeners as well for always sending us positive and negative feedback, for always being our backbone over this 3.5-4 years. It's been super humbling to hear that we guys accompany you, while you're jogging, cooking, night drives. It's all super special to hear stuff like that. Keep supporting this small dream of ours. And again, big up to our sponsors, Manscaped. Go check them out. LB attorney to get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. Go check out Fanatics as well. Also, go show some love to Talksport on their YouTube and social media as well. This podcast and everything on this channel is powered by the Talksport Fan Network, powered by the fans. But yeah, people, until next time, watch out for Farouk's and Jacob's Rayo preview, hopefully Thursday. Yeah, Farouk?
Yeah, hopefully
keep
Thursday.
your eyes peeled on for that. But yeah, people, until next time. Ala Madrid.
Ala Madrid. Alrighty.
Alrighty. That was quick, easy.